It's been a little over 10 years since Honda introduced the first Fit to the States back in 2007. Now back then it was a completely different market. Gas prices were over $3 a gallon and it really helped push Fit sales to nearly double what Honda had anticipated. Today the Fit is in its third generation and for 2018 the company has given the car a slight refresh. However, with this segment slowly dying because Americans are so crossover hungry, does this current Fit still represent the best of the subcompact class? That's what we're here to find out. So the Honda Fit will always have a special place in my heart. This was the first new vehicle I picked up when I graduated college and got my first big boy job. It was the first new car I bought. It was a 2012 Fit Sport with a stick shift. Now Honda has dropped off a 2018 Fit Sport with a 6-speed manual now, and this represents a new trim level for 2018. Now personally, I wasn't quite happy with this Fit's design when Honda first debuted it back in 2015. I kind of preferred the second generation, especially when they refreshed it. I like the changes Honda has made for the 2018 model year. You can see it's got a new grille with some chrome accents. The Sport model also gets slightly blacked out headlights, and then what you're really going to notice are the front fascia and underbody spoilers. They took a page out of the Civic Type R with the red accents and the black. They kind of give this car a much more aggressive look. Now, it actually hasn't been lowered, but it kind of gives the impression that it has. It just looks like a slightly sportier model. Now, the Fit definitely has an interesting shape. It kind of has like a minivan egg-like shape. It's a very tall vehicle, which gives it a lot of space on the inside. Now, the Sport model comes with its own unique set of wheels. These are 16-inch black finish wheels. They're actually the same design as the other EX and up trim level Fits, but they're just a different finish. I kind of wish Honda went with a 17-inch wheel with a fatter tire. These are still like 185 tires. They should have gone with something a little bit wider to give this car less of that subcompact look, because the body, as you can see, is huge, but it's got these small wheels and tires like everything else in this segment. Dimensionally, the Fit hasn't really changed too much from the previous generation. It is a little bit larger. The wheelbase is about a ½ inch longer. It's like 99 inches long. Overall length is about 161 inches long. So again, it's still a pretty small car, which is what you want if you're going to be shopping for a vehicle in this segment. Now at the rear, there are slight changes as well. You have taillights that kind of mimic the CR-V that kind of go up to the upper portion of the tailgate. And you can see here the Sport also gives you a unique lower fascia, kind of mimicking what it gives you on the front with these Type R-like look to the underbody spoilers, and then you have a chrome-tipped exhaust, which does look pretty nice. I would like to see Honda eventually introduce something like a Fit SI with a turbo engine underneath the hood, especially with Ford getting rid of the Fiesta ST. It would be nice to see Honda introduce something a little bit more performance-oriented, but overall, it has that traditional hatchback shape, which I really like. Now, speaking of which, the Fit has always been known to be able to fit a lot of your crap inside, and this new generation hasn't really changed. You can see when you look at the space back here, it's like around 17 cubic feet of space, which is a lot. And if you fold down these seats, you get around 52 cubic feet of space, which is seriously more than what you get in a lot of those silly subcompact crossovers. You may as well just get this. You'll have more space. Now, you actually do get a spare tire underneath here. It's a temporary spare, which is nice. And then the seats, they're Honda's Magic seats. So again, when you flip them down, they fold completely flat, and then you have the ability to flip it up so you can put a bike back there, just like the first generation model. So that's one unique selling feature of the Fit that Honda hasn't changed, and I hope they never do, because it's something that people who buy this car really love. Because my Fit is a Sport, it is missing Honda's smart key access system with push-button start. Instead, you get the familiar in-key remote with keyless entry. I believe the LX models also give you this. To lock the door, it's traditional. Just push the lock button, push it twice, it makes it beep. To unlock it, push it once, it unlocks the driver door. Push it twice, it unlocks all of the doors on the vehicle. Now, looking at the interior of the refreshed Fit, you can see Honda did make slight changes, especially for this new Sport trim. I'm noticing immediately the orange accent stitching, which looks really nice. It matches the Orange Fury exterior color. The Sport only comes with this interior color combination. Honda doesn't offer any other colors on the Sport. You have to go to a different trim, I believe, if you want like a gray interior. But you can see the Fit's cabin, it's still open, it's still airy. It's not exactly full of the newest technology and features that you've seen on some of the bigger Hondas, but again, this is Honda's most inexpensive model. Now, because the Fit has such a huge, roof or tall roof, you can get in and out of this vehicle super easily, and has plenty of room in here, and you have that open and airy feeling that Fits have always been known for. Now, when you shut the door, It sounds okay for a subcompact car. I mean, this is, again, not the most expensive car in the class, so, or at least in the segment, so you have to give up a couple of things here. But nevertheless, to start the vehicle up, it's a traditional key. As I said earlier, put the key in the ignition. I have the 6-speed manual, which is honestly one of the best highlights of the current generation, or at least a Honda Fit in general. And you can see the engine starts right up. This is the new 1.5 liter Earth Dreams direct injection 4-cylinder. I actually really like the eagerness. The engine kind of is really surprising. The Fit's always been the sportier offering in the segment, and it really shows when you get into this vehicle. Now, looking at the rest of the interior, you can see it hasn't really changed too much in terms of the materials. For this generation Fit, Honda did add kind of a soft touch material here with that faux stitching on this portion of the dash only. The rest of the dash here is all hard touch plastic, but you kind of expect that. This is a pretty inexpensive car. Unfortunately, the door panels, they're also hard touch plastic, but again, that's the norm in the class. There is some of the fabric material on the door panel here, but I'm kind of sad that this is hard touch plastic. This is where I'm going to rest my elbow. They should have made this soft touch at least. The window is one touch down and up for the driver's side. Kind of expect that again. This is a subcompact car. The steering wheel I really like, actually. It's a leather wrapped wheel with some contrasting stitching. You get this on the sport trim. I don't believe the EX gives you a leather wrapped wheel. I'll have to double check that. But you can see some of the controls in here. They're from, from older Honda parts bin. This steering wheel controls came off of the old Civic and Accord, as Honda has moved to like a different, all these new buttons for the newer generation models that I've shown you. The gauges are also pretty simple, pretty logical. You have your speedo center tack on the left, and then you have a small little display on the right that does show your trip computer, where it'll show you all your different information, which is nice. Pretty simple. You can kind of get in this car and just know how to use it. Now, the infotainment system, Honda did add a volume knob for 2018. The old one had that slider that the Civic has. And then if you guys want Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, that is standard on the sport trims and up. This particular one, of course, doesn't have nav. It's also missing satellite radio, so I'm kind of sad to see that satellite radio is missing. It's the traditional head unit that you've seen on other Honda products. It gets the job done. It's not the newer system that I've shown you in the Accord or the Odyssey, but nonetheless, I'm glad to see that Honda brought back a volume knob. Now, when you put the vehicle into reverse, you can see here it has a backup camera. It does actually have trajectory. That surprised me, but no parking sensors. This is a pretty small car, so you should know how to drive this thing, honestly, if you're going to take it out on the road. Down here you have a manual climate control system with force fan speeds. It has an old school cable linkage style for the recirc on and off, and then you can see here buttons here for your rear defrost and your air conditioning. Down here you have a USB port, you have a power outlet, there's some nice storage right here, and some cup holders. Now, the 6-speed manual in this car, it's typical Honda. The throws are a little bit longer than I would like, but it has a really nice feel through the gates. You kind of always know what gear you're in. Reverse is all the way to the right and then kind of pull back. I don't like how this is kind of loose right here. I was trying to figure out if this actually will click into place, but you can actually just twist this knob off and replace the knob if you don't like it. I actually really like it. This reminds me of my old 2012 Fit a lot. The shifter is great. It just has that extra 6th gear that I was looking for. Traditionalists are going to appear really like the pull style handbrake instead of those electronic parking brakes. And then Honda's finally added an armrest right here with some center console storage, and there's another USB and power outlet in there. So typically in the past, the first gen Fit honestly didn't even have this feature or an armrest, so it's nice to see Honda including that on this particular trim. The glove compartment, it's not damped, it's not lined with felt, but it is a good size. Again, my expectations are lower in this class of car. The seats are a little bit more aggressively bolstered on the Sport. They're a little bit on the hard side, although the support is okay. I found on longer trips, it started to hurt my back and my bottom just because the seats aren't as soft as I would like them to be. That's kind of the norm in this class, although I did find that the Kia Rio seats were pretty much on par as this. You're going to really love all the headroom in here because of that tall roof. No sunroof on this trim. If you guys go for an EX, you get the sunroof, which is nice, but you do have some matte pockets here. No LED lighting, of course, but I mean, overall, it's a pretty simple interior. You can kind of get inside this car and really just know how to use everything. In traditional Fit style, there's some cup holders here on this side, just like the 2nd generation Fit, but overall, I think you guys who prefer a simple interior are going to really like this car. Now, the rear seat of the Fit is surprisingly comfortable given the fact that this car is super tiny, but when you get back here, you can see because of the Magic seat, The bench actually sits up higher versus the front seat, so you can see pretty well. And then the headrest kind of will dig into your back, so you have to raise it up, and that'll give you a little bit more of a comfortable position. Now, the cushion itself could use a little bit more thigh support. The cloth fabric feels nice, and then you can see there's nearly a flat floor here, and then there's good foot space. Honestly, I would be comfortable back here on a longer drive. I just wish it had an armrest. It's still no armrest. The materials, they're hard touch plastic. This is a subcompact car, so my expectations are low. Honda only gives you one matte pocket on this side, but the coolest aspect about the fit is the magic seat, which allows you to flip this up, put this little thing down, and it'll keep the seat up. So you can do that on this side, and then you can put a bike back here with its front tire still on. Underneath the Fit's diminutive hood, things haven't really changed much over the years. It's still a 1.5 liter four-cylinder. Now, when Honda updated the car in 2015, or they redesigned it, they did add their Earthstream technology, so it still has IV tech, it's still single overhead cam, but now it has direct injection. So it does put out more power. It hasn't changed for 2018, 130 horsepower and 114 pound-feet of torque. It drops 2 horsepower if you guys go for the CVT. Now, my model, because it's the 6-speed manual, has the 130 horsepower version, and fuel economy, you expect it to be good with this class of car, and it's decent. It's rated at 29 in the city, 36 on the highway with the 6-speed manual. You can get close to 40 mpg if you guys go for the CVT. That's the more efficient transmission. Now, all Fits are only front-wheel drive. It weighs around 2,500 pounds. This manual version is probably the one that some enthusiasts would consider as a daily driver, but let's get out on the road and see how it all performs. As I said earlier, Honda Fits will always have a special place in my heart. It was the very first brand new car I drove, and I haven't actually driven a Fit with a stick shift since I got rid of my car like 3 years ago. So I'm excited to drive this 2018 model. Let's see how it gets out on the road and performs. And immediately, right when I started up, it seriously just sounds like my old Fit. It's amazing how, 6 years down the road, and Honda hasn't really changed too much with the Fit. It still has that same basic formula. Now, this 6-speed manual model is probably one of the best cars that you could teach someone how to drive a stick shift on. The clutch is super light effort, a little bit on the vague side. The take up for the clutch, or the engagement point, is kind of really high up there in the travel, so it takes a little bit of getting used to. The shifter is kind of the typical Honda shifter. It's a really it's a really slick shifter, a little bit longer throws than I would like. I feel like my old Fit had a little bit of a shorter throw shifter on the 5-speed, but as you can see, going down this rather rough road, Honda Fits have never been known to offer a smooth ride, and this one with the sport model isn't really that, doesn't really change that. Honda did go to lengths for 2018 to kind of soften the ride, to make it more refined. They've updated the suspension, they've updated the steering tuning, and it does feel more refined than my old Fit. I never really had a chance to actually show you guys this 3rd generation Fit when it first came out in 2015, but my initial impressions are it still feels like a fun subcompact car, but it feels a little bit more refined, which is kind of the natural progression of ways. But getting out here on some twisty roads, the Fit has really excellent visibility. That's always been kind of a trademark. Actually, it kind of makes you feel like you're driving a van because the dashboard is so long. You have this little small window at the front, and you can kind of just see everything. But the Fit has never really been a powerful car, and this new one, even though it has more power, it's got direct injection now, doesn't really change that. Now, what makes the Fit so fun to drive is it's kind of the same philosophy that you get with like a Mazda Miata. It's more fun to drive a slow car fast than to drive a fast car slow. The Fit's kind of that car that makes you work for it. It's got really good engine response. It responds really nicely to my throttle inputs. And it makes a decent sound. This is essentially the 1.5 liter 4-cylinder from the Civic minus that car's turbochargers. And it's typical old school Honda. You have to rev this engine to get any kind of power. It has IV tech, which kicks in at like around 4,500, 5,000 RPM. You kind of feel a little bit of a surge. And this is where the Fit kind of reminds you this is an old school Honda. Like, listen to that. Nice and, shrilling engine note. I'm surprised. It's got a lot of induction howl, not much in terms of exhaust noise, just a lot of induction howl, and that's the typical old school Honda trait. Come on. I have to admit, you know, as slow as the Fit is, I'm actually having a ball with this car. It's actually a lot of fun. It'll put a smile on your face and it'll surprise you. Not really enough power to chirp into second, but it doesn't really need that much power. This is a car that just kind of brings a smile to your face, and that's one of the reasons what made the Fit so successful is it's really fun to drive, and you don't have to spend so much money to have this much fun. It's got a really great shifter, easy clutch. The steering, while it is light, look at this, it's so fast when you turn the wheel. The Fit kind of just is like a go-kart, just goes wing, wing, like that when it goes down the road, and it's so small, you can feel this car's lightweight. And there's a reason why this car still does relatively well in the market. Honda consistently sells around 55,000 Fits every year. I mean, start finding some corners on a back road and whoo! It's not that fast, but I have to say, I'm enjoying this car. I've forgotten that you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a really fun car. And compared to the Kia Rio that I drove, the newest one, this has so much more character. It just feels so much more sporty. The Fit definitely still claims the title as the sportiest subcompact in the segment. Now, being that this is the 2018 model, my tester is the Sport trim, and it's missing the Honda Sensing. In the past, you couldn't even think about getting that on a Fit. So it's interesting that Honda offers it. You can't get Honda Sensing on the Sport with a stick. You have to go to a CVT that'll option in for $1,000. If you guys go for an EX, you can get Honda Sensing with a manual. That's interesting. I would love to test that. It's going to be similar to the Accord. Now, when you're not flogging or the Fit around, how is the refinement in this car? Well, I'll put it into 6th gear here. We're going about 50 miles an hour. It's at 2,500 RPM. So in my old Fit, I complained that it revved too high and I was saying it needed another gear. This one's not really any different. The ride does settle down when you're on some smooth pavement, and it's relatively quiet in here. Honda added more sound deadening materials. They added thicker glass. So they have made this car slightly more refined, but if you guys are used to a really old subcompact car, you're gonna get into this and it's gonna feel like really nice. But if you guys are used to more, newer, more substantial cars, this is still going to feel a little bit like toy-like. This thing makes a really nice noise, I have to admit. Oh, that thing grips. What really holds it back is the tires. They're so skinny, they're only 185s. I would love to see Honda do a Fit SI. I mean, come on, Honda, the Fiesta ST is dead. Ford's not bringing back the Fiesta, and I would love to see them put the Civic's 1.5 turbo in this thing with a limited slip differential, 205 horsepower in this thing. I mean, that would be a ball. If they can keep the price like 20,000 or less, I think a lot of people would actually go for it. So with all that said, let's talk a lot about the fuel economy on this Fit. Even though the EPA numbers are a little bit on the lower end for the segment, I actually have been averaging around 31 miles per gallon driving like a jerk like that. So the Fit is really efficient. And honestly, I'll be curious to see what Honda does for the next generation Fit. I would really love to see them add more premium features like LED daytime running lights, maybe even LED headlights. I mean, you have the Honda Sensing already on this car. A high performance model, that is what Honda needs, is a high performance model on the Fit. Just give us a Fit SI. Honda, you just need to SI all the things, because the Civic SI is kind of a disappointment, but I think if you put that same 1.5 turbo in a Fit SI, I think this would be a great car considering it weighs like 500 pounds less than a Civic SI. Now the Fit has always been much more quick with the manual transmission. The CVT Fit gets to 60 in like 9 seconds. With the manual, this should do it in under 8. I'm gonna say it's like around 7.9 seconds. It feels a lot faster than the numbers would suggest, and that's the thing about the Fit, is it's more about a feel car, not necessarily a numbers car. So in my line of work, I definitely get a chance to drive a lot of expensive cars that are basically out of reach for about 80% of people. So it's nice when I get to drive a vehicle like the Fit, which kind of puts me back to reality, as this is the type of car that most people would prefer to spend when they're looking to buy their first brand new car. And I'm happy to report, after spending some time with the 2018 Fit, this is still a really nice subcompact car. And the subcompact class has honestly been getting better. Now the Sport trim in general still has that fun to drive personality. It's got a great shifter. It's got a really nicely appointed interior. interior for the money, which is spacious and roomy. And then of course you can't really beat the Magic seat. It's just for me, I think the Sport is a little too sparsely equipped. I would probably go for the EX trim with the manual because you get the Honda sensing and the push button start, the smart entry, and the Honda lane watch camera, which is what I would prefer as opposed to the Sport with the manual. If you guys go for the Sport CVT, you can add the Honda sensing for $1,000 if you guys want to. Now, speaking of which, how much does the Fit cost today? The base LX model with the manual starts at just over $16,000, add $900 for destination. The Sport's like another $1,400 more for the body kit and whatnot. Now, if you guys want an EX, that's only like $600 more, and you get all those features that I mentioned before. You're looking at around 18 grand. Most expensive Fit will probably come in at just over 20,000 for an EXL with Navi, which I imagine most people won't get that trim. I think the majority of Fit sales will probably be the EX trim with the CVT, but overall, that makes the Fit a little bit more expensive than some competitors. I mean, you could go to like a Nissan Versa, which will be literally like around $12,000, but again, I think the Fit is one of the most fun to drive. It's got the most versatile interior. It's got that legendary Honda and reliability and resale value, and I think a lot of people who are still in the market for this type of car are going to be pleasantly surprised because it's more practical than a lot of those silly subcompact SUVs. And if you really don't need the all-wheel drive and you want something that's inexpensive to buy and insure and fill up with gas, the Fit still remains one of the best choices in the segment. Anyways, I hope you guys have enjoyed my full overview on this 2018 Honda Fit Sport with a manual. If you're also looking to see the latest cars I'm testing, make sure you follow me on Instagram at Redline_reviews. Like us on Facebook, and if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the Redline Reviews YouTube channel for all the latest reviews. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I'll catch you all in the next video.